Welcome to FinTech TV. New America Acquisition Corp rang the opening bell today and is a newly formed SPAC that went public here at the New York Stock Exchange. Now, the SPAC will focus on companies that advance U.S. industrial growth, technological leadership, as well as key supply chains. Joining me here at the New York Stock Exchange is Kevin McGurn, Chairman, CFO, and CEO of New America Acquisition Corp. Kevin, great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Remy. Thanks for having us.
Well, you just rang the opening bell here at the New York Stock Exchange. So tell us about the SPAC.
So the SPAC was originated out of a team of folks that really wanted to take advantage of what is a booming American economy. And we wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity to take really crown jewel asset private companies public and get the public markets to fund them and accelerate their innovation and their growth.
And speaking of growth, give us an idea of what you're focusing on right now and why.
Yeah, originally we were just looking at manufacturing, and then we broadened that out for energy and for AI and data infrastructure. And we really just want to take a holistic approach to what drives our economy, what gives us independence in a myriad of different ways. That could be energy independence, that could be supply chain independence, or that could be, our lead in the AI race that we want to maintain. So we're going to look at a lot of different companies, and we're going to make a great selection, and we're going to help those folks navigate their way into the public market and really accelerate their growth.
And speaking of growth as well as acquisitions, how do you go about finding the right targets?
You have to look at a number of things. You have to look at the team first. I'm a big believer in team and culture. Then we really want to get down to the financial fundamentals of those businesses. Now, some of the businesses are in pre-revenue opportunities, and that would be a very high growth multiple that you'd have to bet on that type of company. However, we're going to look at top line revenue, EBITDA profitability, and then again, what sector you're in and what the multiple is on that growth. But all of those things put together will make a successful de-SPAC opportunity. And then you have to help these folks who are going from the private markets and fundraising in a different way into the public markets and getting access to different financial vehicles and engineering that helps their stock perform and then helps them take money out of the market and then reinvest it in their opportunity to grow.
And speaking of opportunity, Kevin, you have a deep experience as well as knowledge when it comes to M&A. So given that you've identified these areas as well as sectors, what's key moving forward into 2026?
So the SPAC space has been really hot recently. It started out in crypto and AI, and then nuclear is actually another big part of that growth trajectory for special purpose acquisition companies. So we are looking at a number of different things, but frankly, I think the right, sort of the cream rises to the top. When you get into the diligence side of the business and you really start to work with these teams and look in their financials, you can tell very quickly who's going to be successful. But the team that we put together is really the key to this. So folks with great financial experience, folks with operating experience in both, hard asset companies as well as digital asset companies. So we think that from a future forward standpoint, we've got the right group to actually identify a target, build a big pipeline, and then de-SPAC a successful public company.
Yeah, and you continue to mention team as well as due diligence. And I'm sure if you speak to the management of any of these publicly listed and traded companies here at the New York Stock Exchange, many will echo your sentiment as well. But when it comes to due diligence, can you walk us through in further detail why it's so important?
Yeah, I think you want to have access to all the latest technology in a diligence. For us, we're going to look at the financials, and that's fairly basic. But as the companies that we review are going into their sectors and trying to accelerate their growth in sectors, we want to make sure that they are advantaging themselves with not just financing, but also innovative approaches to their businesses and in sectors of the industry that they participate in that are high growth and high potential. Usually you have founder-led businesses that you'll identify, but in many cases, those founder-led businesses need some surrounding executive experience and then need their ability to navigate into public markets. So the diligence is all part of that, but it's also a consultancy, sort of an advisory to help these folks on their path.
And finally, I do want to ask you about your mission relating to U.S. manufacturing. So can you tell us what difference you seek to make when it comes to the industrial base of America?
First and foremost, we want to make sure that we have a lead in all facets of the economy. This could be from the supply chain, it could be through energy, or it could be through data infrastructure and usage of AI. So we want to make sure that the United States is always the leader in all of those spaces. They are critical. It's a national security opportunity to fuel private companies into the public domain. But what I will tell you is that manufacturing is a big part of what we want to bring back here to America. We have all of the tools to do that. We have the connectivity to do that in terms of finding businesses that are going to be really successful in building things here in the US. And then all of the support that goes along with that. But I will tell you, a lot of this goes back to energy. And we want to make sure that all of our considerations keep these things in mind. Do you have the right data and infrastructure? Do you have the right access to energy? And do you have the right access to supply chain? And all of those things together will make a very successful target acquisition.
And of course, last but not least, for American investors who are watching this right now, what are the impacts and implications when it comes to their investments?
So their investment is going to be safe with us. Obviously, we want to have a very high redemption, we want to have people stay in the trust. We want a very low redemption in that trust. We want to have long investors in our business. And we want to select targets that they feel have a growth trajectory, not just at the de-SPAC level, but then well beyond and have multiple years of success to come. And I think we do have those long investors that we built out in the book, and the bankers have done a great job for this acquisition, Corp. And I think we're set up for success.
Okay, Kevin, well, great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on ringing the opening bell today.
Thanks, Remy.
Thank you
so much.